What is up, everyone? I'm glad you're all able to be here for another six-show match that we have uh, cooked up for you. Tonight, we're going to have Hawk, the reigning champion and winner of our Rogue City Rumble, versus the challenger Gypsy, one of the strongest foreigner Terrans alive. This is going to be an absolutely hype matchup, and I can't wait to jump into it. But first, let me introduce my illustrious co-caster, Keen, and our attentive observer, Tim. I'm Just Too Juicy. We are Rogues Gallery, and this is another Foul Play NA. Keen, my man, how are you doing?
Dude, I'm doing fucking great, and I'm doing even better after that stunning introduction you just gave. God, you're just so eloquent, so well-spoken, it's intoxicating.
Thank you.
Being around you.
I know, trust me. I've been told before.
Yeah, I'm sure you hear it all the time, but anyway, yeah, tonight is going to be a fucking blast. I mean, I feel like everyone has been asking for this match ever since Hawk won, the Rogue City Rumble a couple weeks ago. Everyone wants to see Hawk versus Gypsy because Hawk is like pretty much definitively the best ZVPer in North America now, and so now we're going to get a test to see, how his ZVT stacks up against obviously the best TV0 by far in North America, Gypsy. But before going into the match, some of you may have noticed in our stream title, ! Turf Wars, we are happy to announce that starting next month, we are going to be running another Turf Wars event. So if for those of you who are unfamiliar, Turf Wars 1 ran last year. It's a North American Team League event where we have an open draft of top North American players. Any players who have previously played in our Rogues Gallery events will be eligible for the draft. Not all of them will be chosen, most likely, but we'll see. But yeah, we should have our donation goal up on the stream. We're aiming to raise at least $800 to add to both the prize pool, which has generously been sponsored for $500 so far by Esport Fund. And yeah, we are really, really looking forward to bringing you another North American Team League event.
That is going to be so sick, so hype. The last one was so much fun. We had so many great games out of it. I actually got to play in it, and I know everyone out there on the stream is a huge fan of mine. So you guys might get to see me whip out the Protoss, maybe whip out some new surprises too. But, that's going to be right around the corner, and that's going to be super exciting when it finally happens.
Yeah, absolutely. But first of all, let's focus on tonight's show match. So yeah, Hawk versus Gypsy. One thing we haven't mentioned, I feel like, is it's actually going to be all 7 games played, similar to the kind of like ultimate battle show matches that Koreans play against each other. So this is going to be super, super hype. I really can't wait to see what these two bring out for us. So yeah, the maps, we pretty familiar map pool so far. The only new additions are Ascension and Polaris Rhapsody, 2 recent ASL maps. So I'm really interested to see how Ascension plays out. I haven't really seen any games played on it so far. I haven't been keeping super up to date with the ASL stuff so far. But I do know that Polaris Rhapsody potentially is, pretty good map for Zerg, given that it has those corner expansions with the double gases. So if Hawk can sort of get one of those locked down and defended early, I think that should definitely be a decent map for him. What do you think about the map pool, Just?
I think it's pretty balanced overall. Ascension, of course, being that 3-player Blue Storm map, so it's really cool map, really interesting to see games on. I think it's got really good options for like drops and stuff like that, so we'll have to see if Gypsy wants to take advantage of drops during that game. But yeah, overall, I think pretty balanced, pretty even maps here. I don't think either side is going to have a huge advantage because of the map pool.
Yeah, it'd probably just be a huge advantage because, it's Tasagi against Zerg, right?
You could say that. Our first player is going to be Hawk. Like I said, he is the reigning Rogue City Rumble champion. Played absolutely so nasty in that, taking out Dragon in the finals there. One of the coolest finals going all the way to Game 7. So, yeah, he's just looked on top of his game. He's been streaming a lot lately, just dominating, all around, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super happy that Hawk has started streaming regularly because he has just such an entertaining stream. He constantly talks about his games and his thought process as he's playing, which is incredibly difficult to do as far as I'm concerned. So props to him for that. And yeah, I feel like he's a little untested in ZVT. I do know that in previous Rogues Gallery events, he did take down Whip, who is one of the rising Terran stars in North America. But other than that, I feel like he's relatively untested, given that there's just such a dearth of Terrans in North America. So I'm really wondering what he's going to pull out.
For sure. Going to be excited to see what he wants to do. Of course, the challenger, we have Gypsy. He did win Artosis's Ascension series there, which he took out a ton of strong players in that. Took out Boa, who obviously is a great player. And yeah, I mean, once again, another player looks so sick when he plays. He streams all the time. Constantly, getting into S rank every season. Very, very talented. Yeah. And his I've been watching his stream a lot lately, and he has been destroying other top rated Zergs in NA. I've seen him crush Crossy multiple times, Striker, tons of really, really talented players.
Yeah, absolutely. Gypsy did get knocked out of the Rogue City Rumble very early last season, but honestly, it doesn't really. It's not an accurate showcasing of his skill. He got knocked out, but I mean, honestly, he's insanely skilled. His mechanics are just out of this world, and his TVZ is frightening when he's on point. He is a little weak to early game cheese builds, but when he gets going, it's really, really hard to stop him. I feel like he's one of the few foreigner Terrans who can really just have that multitasking ability where he can shut down Zergs not only in the early and mid game, but also even in the late game when they get up to like 3 or 4 gas and Swarm and Plague starts coming out. He has the mechanics to actually dismantle the Zergs at that point in the game, which not many foreign Terrans can do.
100%, man. Just his multitasking is just out of this world. And I think we're going to be getting into the first game here. It is going to be on Polypoid. And yeah, this is going to be super exciting. Can't wait to see, man.
Yeah, I can't wait either. Another thing about Gypsy is I feel like he kind of struggles with tournament nerves, but I feel like after his Ascension performance, we can maybe see him getting over that a little bit. So I'm really hoping he plays his heart out tonight and doesn't kind of succumb to nerves. But anyway, it looks like we'll have Hawk in the top right as our red Zerg.
And in the top left is our blue Terran. We have Gypsy. Keen, let's hear it, man. Your prediction. What do you think is going to happen in this series? Score.
Honestly, Gypsy, I mean, that I'm one of the biggest Hawk fanboys out there, but Gypsy's TVZ is just so insane. I'm kind of expecting him to take it like 5-2 or 4-3 maybe. Either way, honestly, I don't really care what happens in this series. I just hope we have good games.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I'm actually a little worried for Hawk just because I've seen Gypsy wrecking so many talented Zerg players lately. He has just looked so on point. I know Hawk is our Rogue City Rumble winner, the reigning NA champion, but we have to remember his journey to win that was mostly against Protoss players. His ZVP looks absolutely dominant, but his ZVT, I haven't seen nearly as many games out of that, so I'm not quite sure where he stands compared to his ZVP.
Yeah, 100%. And, you started playing Terran a little bit recently, right? You're kind of dipping your toes in, maybe thinking about switching your main race to Terran. So having played a couple days of Terran, obviously you're a top TVZ talent yourself. How do you feel about TVZ?
Yeah, man. TVZ is one of those matchups that, like you said, if you have the multitasking for it, everything just flows really smoothly, and it just gets so much easier. But it does require a lot of multitasking. But Marines are just so good, and it's so satisfying when you just stim them into Sunkens and they just burst the Sunkens down, and Easy game, easy life,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I do know. I mean, having played some TVZ, in the past month or so myself, it's like, you kind of just like stumble around in the dark and you just like make Marines and you move them around the map, and then, the Zerg kind of just like leaves. It's great. It's a
You
very
can
fun
take
matchup.
like 3 bad trades as Terran and still pull out ahead because Marines are expendable.
Yeah, that is 100% correct. They are very expendable. But anyway, looks
Look
like
at
it's going to
this.
be obviously Hawk early scouting this, but Gypsy sees the Overlord. He just goes straight for that 230 command center timing.
Super
He
fast command center for sure.
Yeah, getting this initial scouting information is so comfortable for Terran because they know they can just greed it out. They can, get their gas going, get their tech, get their second racks going even faster than usual. They don't have to worry about pumping Marines before the command center even starts. So yeah, it's off to a great start for Gypsy for sure.
Notice how he didn't have to drop down a second depot before his command center. He didn't have to make a Marine before it. All these things really, really help his command center timing here, and you can see just how quick it's going up because of that. Hawk going for a 2-hatch here, already has the layer on the way, so we're probably going to be seeing Mutilis come out of him here. There is always a chance that it's going to be Lurkers, but with the SCV still in the base, it's harder to pull off a strategy like that.
Yeah, and we see that Hawk didn't even go for some extra early lings to kind of force out a bunker or anything from Gypsy. He's only going for those 2 initial lings. So I'm guessing it will be Spire for sure. It's really hard to kill the SCV with just 2 lings, and it seems like he probably just doesn't really care that much that he's getting that perfect scouting information.
Not at all. Gypsy going up to the second rack, so we are going to have 2 racks here. Pretty classic response. Against the 2-hatch here, you're able to get out a lot of Marines and able to get stim before the Mutilis get to your base, which is super important because obviously Marines without stim are pretty useless. Gypsy moving out with a couple of Marines here. He might be sending these all the way across the map. Nope. Looks like they're going to turn around. Doesn't want to be too crazy with them. He's going to send out that second SCV to see if he can get another scout off, but Hawk might just barely see it. No, it sneaks right past. The Overlord will scout it, though, so...
Yeah, and Hawk being very, very conservative with even his Overlord placements. I mean, he will be able to most likely see some Marines moving out, but I'm kind of surprised it's so far back, honestly. I wonder if he's worried about it getting picked off, but yeah, Hawk taking a main as his third, which I definitely like. Usually Zergs take a close third, but this will just make it that much easier for Hawk to secure his 4th gas in the mid and late game.
Definitely. We see that Spire is going to be the tech choice for Hawk here. It's on its way up. So we're going to be seeing 6 Mutilis pop or get made here, most likely as soon as that Spire finishes. What does Hawk want to get accomplished with these early Mutilis, Keen? Are they to kill Gypsy? Are they to buy time for him to get his 3rd base up? What do you think?
Well, I think they're just for map control, just to buy time. I don't usually view Hawk as like an all-in Muta player. We do notice here that, as Tim pointed out, Hawk had 2 drones on gas at his natural for a while, and he took those 2 off to actually make early Sunkens against this early Marine pushout. One thing to note is that the rush distances are very, very short at these close positions on Polypoid. So this could actually be a little hairy for Hawk, but it does look like the Sunkens are going to get up in time. So he should be fine.
Yeah, getting those Sunkens up just barely in time. Cancels that Evo Chamber. Of course, the Evo Chamber just there to tank some shots if Gypsy was like stimming across the map. Maybe it'd buy him just a couple extra seconds to get the Sunkens down. But now he's going to feel pretty comfortable with those Sunkens in front of his base. Shouldn't be at risk of dying here anytime soon. And you can see Gypsy on the mini-map. He's looking for that 3rd base. He thinks it's already up, and he's right about that. We're going to have to see if Hawk can actually keep this base alive. This is really sometimes the pivotal moment in ZBT is whether or not Zerg can successfully keep their 3rd base going.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm actually surprised that Gypsy just kept his Marines and Medics out on the map, but I guess they're kind of, they were too far out to really like bring back. But now that Gypsy sees that Hawk took all of his mutas back to kill that 1 Marine that was going towards his 3rd, he is able to gain a little bit more ground, get closer to his natural, and hopefully eventually he can combine these Marines and Medics. It actually really hurts that Hawk wasn't able to kill that small Marine and Medic force, in my opinion.
For sure. And look at Gypsy's timing. Already has the factory going down. He's going to have vessels out so quickly. Staying on 3 barracks there. That's perfect marine production where you're spending all your resources and able to just produce a good steady stream of marines. Enough to definitely deter Zerg from doing any kind of crazy attacks here. He was able to get up his turrets a little bit later, which helped, even better with his factory timing there. So everything's looking really good for Gypsy this game. He's got a nice little economic, I wouldn't say advantage, but a nice little economic benefits here from his early command center and everything like that.
Yeah, 100%. Everything is really clicking for him. We do see that he just scouted he scanned Hawk's third, and he actually saw the Hydra Den going down as well at the third with that scan. So getting a lot of really valuable information there. Just going in to pressure the natural a little bit more. Wow, he's actually going for it. He's actually trying to kill these Sunkens. That was a little surprising to me.
I think he just picked off a single Mutalisk. I did see a couple fly over the Marines there, so I think he knew one was hurt, ran in, sniped it. Kind of had that star sense, able to pick out the weak Mutalisk of the bunch and snipe it with only losing a couple of Marines for it, so probably worth it there. But he does need to be careful because these is not a lot of Marines, and this is 11 Mutalisks here. This pack of Marines could get cleaned up very, very easily. I'm actually surprised Hawk is being so kind of cautious here, because that's a pretty small Marine force. Hawk could definitely even just attack, move, and just wipe that entire Marine medic force out. But he is finally cleaning it up a little bit, which is good because we see on the minimap Gypsy is starting to reinforce here. Hopefully Hawk can actually pick off at least, okay, so 2-3 medics. That's good. Still under pressure here though, so little awkward for Hawk. How do you feel about him sticking on Mutalisk so long? We can see the vessels are going to be out here pretty soon, and that's really when Mutalisk start losing their strength, right? Once the vessels are out. And he's been on them for quite a while. Do you think we're going to see a Hydra transition into Lurkers here pretty quickly?
Yeah, we do see that he's had the Hydra Den there at his third for quite a while now. So Lurker aspect should be pretty much finished already. We do see one Hydra at Hawk's natural. I am a little surprised that Hawk made so many mutas. I think he was really just kind of afraid of getting busted by Marines and medics. Usually you just keep up the Mutalisk numbers as you're making that transition from lair to hive, just to make sure that you don't die. But given that Gypsy went for a 3 racks and had that faster tech, as you pointed out, I'm not so sure that the extra mutas paid off, really. Hawk wasn't able to get any damage done to Gypsy's main, so Gypsy has really been able to just kind of do whatever he wants, really dictating the pace of the game.
And Hawk has invested a lot into these Mutalisks too. He's got +1 attack on them as well, to give him a little bit more fighting strength. But like I said, once those vessels get out, these Mutalisks really lose a lot of their strength, because 1 Irradiate can devastate a whole pack of Mutalisks if you don't split properly here. They are still getting a couple good trades here, but it's not. He hasn't done as much with these Mutalisks as I would have liked. He hasn't harassed the economy at all. He's really just prevented Gypsy from killing him. And typically with the Mutalisks, you want to do a little bit more. At the same time, though, his third base has gotten up completely unharassed. Doesn't look like Gypsy has even bothered to send anything down there, and he's got a pretty good drone count at that third base already.
Yeah, absolutely. And he is, his money is kind of adding up a little bit here, but once Hive kicks in, Hawk has enough drones to start really, adding hatcheries, adding all of his tech. We see here two more hatcheries. His macro is just going to start kicking off like crazy. And once he gets more Lurkers at his third, and gets Defilers and Consume up, he'll be able to most likely get his fourth up relatively unscathed. So far, Gypsy, like you said, he hasn't even tried harassing that bottom expansion at all. He's really just setting up in front of Hawk's natural here. And honestly, his vessel numbers aren't out of control so far. So honestly, I think Hawk is in a relatively good position.
But look at that, build up there by Gypsy. He's adding so many barracks. He's keeping his money so low. Already adding the third command center. He's going to have so many vessels here so quickly, and he's just going to have insane production here, man. Look at how many barracks he's already up to. This is only 11 minutes into the game. He can add more once his third base gets pumping, and he can really be pumping out of 10, 12 barracks, constant Marine production. And this is a scary amount of Marines already just sitting right outside his natural.
Yeah, it's always really frightening, especially in the early and mid game. Is Zerg like one wrong step, one wrong move, and you can just get broken. Oh my god, I can't believe Gypsy's actually going in here. This is insane. Oh, wow.
Complete devastation of that Marine force. They just melted. That was way too many lurkers to really try that. I think Gypsy thought there were fewer lurkers there. It is sometimes pretty difficult to see them when they're burrowed like that, but that was a little bit overzealous for sure.
Yeah, I am not so sure what the thought process was behind that. I mean, like you said, usually the lurkers are actually stacked, so maybe you would guess that there's 2 or 3, but those are actually not stacked very completely. So he should have been able to see that there was like 6 lurkers there. That was an incredibly ballsy move that did not pay off.
+1 carapace already for Hawk too. His upgrades are looking really good. And yeah, like we said, his economy is so strong, he might be able to just jump up to, really strong hive-tech units here very quickly. We see the Defilers already getting out. That is a big vessel count. It's still growing too. And I'm going to be curious to see if Gypsy wants to add anything like drops or anything like that. Obviously, drops can be super difficult for Zerg to deal with when they're, transitioning from this layer-heavy army into the more strong hive-tech.
Yeah, 100% drops are one of the main ways that Terran really can break Zergs at this stage of the game. But as Tim was pointing out, we actually see a physics lab, so maybe rather than splitting between vessels and dropships, he's actually just going to be going straight into battle cruisers, which is another great way to put pressure on Zerg and just force them to throw money into Scourge.
Gypsy needs to be careful here. He doesn't have a lot of Marines guarding these vessels anymore, and that is still a lot of Mutalisks too. There's only like 5 Marines here, so if those Marines get picked off, those vessels have a long way to run while being attacked by that many Mutalisks. He does get a big irradiate off there on a nice clump of them. Manages to pick off a few there before Hawk splits it, but not that devastating.
Still, despite these little missteps here and there, Gypsy kind of donating Marines for free, he still has a 50 supply lead. He's doing really great. I mean, we see a play coming out from Hawk here, which is nice to see, but it kind of whiffs a little bit, only catching 1 vessel and 1 medic. But yeah, despite all of those Marine medic donations, Gypsy, his macro is just out of control right now. He's not even going over 400 minerals this entire time. He's taking a 4th now. His Marines are just non-stop, dude.
Absolutely a beast when it comes to macro. For being on 3 bases, full mining, it is so tough as Terran to keep your minerals low, especially when you're making Marines only cost 50 minerals, guys. It takes a lot to keep your money that low, and he's just done so well all game long and has paid off. You can see with the supply, he's got a huge supply lead. Look at Hawk on the other hand. He's floating 2k minerals, 400 gas, obviously being the limiter there. You can't really make a bunch of ultralists when you're so low on gas. But maybe needs more hatcheries or something because, this is scary when a Terran has this big of a supply lead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the extra minerals so much. He could obviously have way more lings going around the map, kind of harassing. But as you pointed out, in mid and late game, Terran just has such an insane Marine medic production that, there's honestly more Marines than even Flash can control at this stage of the game. So he has Marines set up. A really nice plague there, by the way. But yeah, getting almost all the vessels, I think 6 out of the 7 vessels in that stack got plagued. That's absolutely insane. But yeah, honestly, I feel like conserving the minerals a little bit is a fine choice for Hawk. Just saving him for making sure he gets a 4th up. And having that mineral bank for when he does get his 4 gas ultra production going, I think is fine.
And we're seeing a 3rd starport there from Gypsy. We're going to have 3 BCs popping out here, and battle cruisers can be pretty difficult to deal with for Zerg. There's really no efficient way to handle them. Scourge, I think even just literally, if every Scourge hit, it's already inefficient for the Zerg in terms of gas production compared to what the Terran had to invest. So that's why Zerg definitely needs to be gathering more resources in Terran, but it's looking a little scary, man. This 4th base is getting up pretty effectively from Hawk, though. Gypsy hasn't been able to deny it. So, if Hawk can just keep scaling up like this, we might be going into even, an even later game here, potentially even split map positions. Of course, we don't often see, just as I say that, the 4th base does get broken there. and that's going to go down very quickly to the spinning Marines.
Yeah, this is starting to worry me for Hawk a little bit because Gypsy is almost maxed. And despite getting some really nice plagues off on those vessels, Hawk hasn't been able to actually close the deal and actually kill them. They're just still at low health. So letting that vessel cloud kind of persist is really, really bad. That's kind of like one of the main wins. Oh my god, look at this four dropship assault here. This is looking really, really tough for Hawk right now. I think he will be able to clean it up with these lurkers, but man, this is going to do a lot of damage. And he's not even reacting with his mutas right now.
Yeah, the Mutalisk needed to be there to help. Well, now they might be able to get a lot of these vessels, which would be super nice. Getting two already. There's another one that's very, very low there. If he can pick off a lot of these vessels, that could be saving grace here. But now his natural's getting broken at the same time. Gypsy, such a monster with this multitasking all over the map, taking out the fourth base, the main, and the natural all at the same time there. And you can see Hawk is just collapsing here. He doesn't have enough units to defend all these bases, and his supply is plummeting.
Yeah, I honestly, he's 170 supply to 70 supply. It's not looking good for Hawk this game. I'm honestly astonished. Like, it seemed like as it was entering the first like early late game stages of the game, where Gypsy kind of donated a bunch of Marines for free. I thought Hawk was going to be able to like run with that short-term advantage and kind of get his fourth up, but dude, Gypsy is just a juggernaut. He just did not let up. Just continuously, his macro has been on point and just constant aggression. He has not let Hawk have any room to breathe whatsoever, and Hawk taps out. That was a dominating performance for this first game.
Yeah, Gypsy really just showing us why he is so strong in this matchup. Just never giving Hawk a moment to breathe. I still have to question. Hawk went for so many Mutalisks, but he was so passive with them. Looked like he was afraid of Gypsy's Marines almost. I think we're definitely going to need to see him switch that up in game 2 for him to find success in this matchup.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you. I was kind of surprised when, he would have like a group of 11 mutas and he would still be like apprehensive about going against just like 8 to 7 Marines. Like at that point, you can literally just move small groups of Marines and just wipe them out in situations like that. So I think he might have been giving Gypsy a little too much respect, honestly.
And it's important that you do that too. You can't let those Marines recombine with other larger groups of like Marine balls. And obviously, if you can clean up and get map control away from the Terran, you can start harassing their economy and putting pressure on them. When Gypsy's allowed to sit at home and just literally do what he wants to do, he will not miss his timings. He's that clean. He'll hit all his timings. He'll get vessels super quick. His macro will be out of control like it was just now, You have to slow him down somehow.
Yeah, 100%. He was able to just sit in his base, like you said, and it wasn't just after like the mutas got out either. It was from the very beginning of the game. Like Hawk put on no pressure. He only made 2 lings, which is nice because then he was able to sort of greed it out a little bit and really like get his tech on time and everything. But like even with just those 2 lings, he still had to make sunkens early to deal with the Marines and medics. So really, Gypsy was able to play his game and Hawk wasn't able to nail his.
100%. I think we're going to be going into Ascension here as our second map of this 7 games series here. So yeah, Ascension. Keen, I know you said you haven't been watching too many ASL games, but I know I've watched a couple of them with you. You've seen this map played before. What do you think of it?
Well, yeah, I have seen a few games on it, but I still feel a little not so familiar with it, especially ZVT. I do like it though. I actually am a huge fan of Blue Storm, so naturally I kind of like this map already. I do think that it should be fairly decent for Zerg. Like honestly, Blue Storm is one of my favorite 2-player maps of all time for Zerg. The natural on Blue Storm was very abusable, but with mutas, not so much the case with Ascension here. But yeah, I don't know. It's fairly wide open. I think it's a fine map. How do you feel about it from the Terran perspective?
I haven't played on it at all with my newfound Terran practice here. But like I said earlier, I think it's actually pretty good for Terran. There's like you said, it very wide open, so I feel like drops could definitely be really effective on this. And we're going to see Gypsy go for an 8 Rex here. And yeah, I mean, this could catch Hawk off guard right away in game number 2. I mean, looks like Gypsy is pulling out all the punches, man.
Yeah, I honestly haven't seen Gypsy do 8 racks that often. I wonder if he has a 1-1-1 planned behind this, or if he's just going to 8 racks into a general, like, fast expansion with Marine Medic behind it. But it's interesting that I know he was preparing a lot. As you said, he was grinding games against Striker and Crossy in preparation for this match. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what he has to pull out here.
So with an 8 racks Keen, what does it have to accomplish to be successful?
Honestly, I feel like if you can force just a drone response, even if you don't kill that many drones, if you force like 8 or 9 drones to be pulled, you can at the very least break even. But most likely he'll get at least like 1 or 2 drone kills, and that would still be sort of even. If he gets more than 2 drone kills, I would say it's a definite win for Gypsy. But we'll have to see here. Will Hawk? It looks like Hawk is not going to see this for quite a while, so I'm kind of worried. But he's not bringing any more SCVs. We do see he already added the gas, so this is going to be kind of a soft 8 racks, where he doesn't have to do too much damage. And once Hawk sees that there's only 1 SCV with these 2 Marines, he should realize what's happening and add a sunk relatively quickly. I'm hoping he won't take too much damage from this.
He's going to see it with his Overlord. Really well placed Overlord here. Hawk has definitely done his homework on this map, knows exactly where he wants to send his Overlords. So he's going to see this. He's going to pull drones. We can see him coming out right now. The bunker's already on its way down. 2 Marines here, a 3rd one on the way. We're going to have to see what he can get done here. Target firing down the drones, but they're already getting on top of these Marines. But look at this tight choke. So annoying for Hawk to have to deal with here. Pulling back 1 drone very low there. It's so hard to micro drones in this situation. When there's 3 Marines here, they can just snipe off drones very quickly. Another drone going down, but the drones are on top of the Marines. 3 drones go down, but he does clean it up pretty effectively after that. So not the worst there. I think fairly even trade overall. I think Gypsy will be happy with that, but Hawk also will, be relatively happy with that, taking pretty minimum losses there.
Yeah, I do think it hurts a little bit that he did lose the 3 drones there, especially considering Gypsy didn't have to pull. He only pulled 1 SCV, which was his scouting SCV, so it wasn't really that much of a commitment for him. I am a little worried now, honestly, depending on how Gypsy follows up with this 1-1-1. If he goes for like a vulture drop, for example, it could be very kind of sketchy for Hawk to deal with. But Hawk is getting more vision with that scouting Overlord. He sees the vulture coming out, and this is kind of a late creep colony, though. This vulture might actually do quite a bit of damage. This is a little pretty delayed, honestly.
This is a very late creep colony. I don't think that sunken's going to be done, and this vulture is going to go right into the main here. If it gets into the main, that could be game literally straight up. And it looks like Gypsy, no, man, Gypsy blundering that a little bit. I think he could have gotten a lot of damage done there if he had just went straight for the main. Instead, he went around to the minerals and the natural there to see if he could get anything there. I don't think he knew how quickly or how delayed that sunken was. So, yeah, a little bit of a blessing for Hawk for sure.
That was about as well as it could have gone for Hawk, honestly. We do see that Gypsy has a Wraith producing already, so that will potentially do a bit of damage. It looks like Hawk is going straight for Spire, I believe, not making Hydra Den, which is a little kind of questionable in my opinion, because usually we do see him throwing down the Hydra Den there. I don't know if that'll be in time to stop the Wraith from getting a couple Overlord kills, though. This Wraith going straight for the Overlord in the corner. Let's see if he can actually commit and find it. And wow, he misses it just by a hair. Wow.
Now that might actually be unfortunate too, because that Hydra Gen's still a while off, and this Wraith could potentially get some Overlords here in the natural too. We're gonna have to see if Hawk immediately wants to make a Hydralist. Looks like he is gonna make a couple, so maybe just 1 Overlord going down, if that even. So overall, pretty okay for Hawk. It looked like it could have been game ending based on the timing he saw that Vulture there. So definitely fortunate for him.
Yeah, really coming back from the brink there. I mean, I kind of like you can have expected Gypsy, like obviously he would have expected the sunken to be finished there, right? But I don't know. Him trying to go into the main right after like kind of committing to the natural. If he had just kept his vulture there at the natural to like delay drone mining, I feel like that would have been a win for him. But yeah, losing that vulture really, really hurts.
And now he's going to get a third overlord, though, and Hawk losing 2 overlords instead of just the 1. I thought he was going to be able to save it. This is going to be 3 overlords, and look at the supplies, man. It's actually looking really brutal now.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Hawk moved that overlord out of the corner. Maybe he thought it was just eventually going to die no matter what. Gypsy actually moving in for just a couple drone kills with vultures, and it seems like he got 1 drone kill and not even losing any vultures. I don't even know how that happened, honestly.
Yeah. This is just Gypsy, man. His multitasking's all over the place. He's constantly picking things off. As I say that, he loses a vulture to just a slow Hydralisk walking off. But still, man, this game is looking very convincing once again. Gypsy with a pretty dominant lead going into the mid game here. Yeah,
Gypsy's getting turrets down. I don't think that the mutas from Hawk are going to do too much damage. It's already 7 minutes, so a 7-minute Mutalisk popping, just 3 Mutalisks, is really, really not what you want to be seeing. Is there all these turrets are going to be up and running? I don't know. I'm kind of scared for Hawk right now. Oh my god!
For free. And this is 3 Wraiths. 3 Wraiths can fight, pretty effectively, especially under turrets against the very, very minimal Mutalisk count here. And he's actually just going to go straight into the main because he doesn't think Hawk has enough to defend against it. And Hawk really doesn't. He only has 1 Mutalisk. He's about to pop out a bunch more here. But yeah, this is looking almost to the brink of hopelessness because, I mean, it's just such a tall order to climb back up into this game now.
Yeah, really, really hard. If 1-on-1 goes unpunished and you don't hit your Mutalisk timing to like do some damage to it before they get all their tech up and their marine production going and their vessel production going, it is insanely punishing. Honestly, it's like one of the hardest builds to play against, in my opinion, if you don't hit your timings correctly.
And we see a huge amount of Mutalisk going across the map now. I think he's going to try to get something done here, but it's so late already. It feels like it's going to be very difficult for him to actually accomplish anything with these Mutalisks. Picking off one of the Wraiths is pretty nice, but that first vessel is going to be done by the time the Mutalisks get there.
Yeah, and once you have a vessel with Irradiate out, it's your potential to do damage with mutas is pretty much like 0. I mean, it's really, really hard to do anything at all when Irradiate is out.
Fortunately for Gypsy, there isn't that many turrets here, so he might be able to bust this 1 turret, and then if he can bust this 1 turret, he can actually get some good economic damage down here. He needs to focus down the turret. He's not focusing it down. I think it's going to give it enough time to heal. It's getting so close. Finally goes down. The other turret can be finished if he gets
that vessel, that would be amazing. Wow.
Takes out the first vessel. This is Gypsy. He really did not make a lot of turrets here. He tried to squeeze by with just 1 in the main here at the main mineral line, and you can see he's taking a lot of punishment because of it. A lot of SCVs already going down, losing that first vessel. It looks like Hawk is going to have to back off here. His Mutalisks are very, very hurt, but definitely being pretty effective with that first little Mutalisk push, doing way more damage than I think it should have.
Yeah, it definitely did a lot of work, that muta attack, but I'm a little still worried because he, as he was frantically microing those mutas, he ended up bringing a few too many overlords, I think, because he was worried about the Wraiths. And he lost a couple overlords. He lost like 3 or 4 mutas, and as Tim is pointing out right now, he's very, very low on drones. This is basically a muta all-in right now. He has 7 drones as his main and like 3 drones as natural. That is not a sustainable economy for Zerg.
Not at all. His economy is definitely in shambles here. So this is definitely feels like it needs to do critical damage or he's going to lose. But he does have this great position in the natural now. Once again, Gypsy only with 1 turret in his natural, really skimping on the turrets. And he had such a big advantage. I don't think that was necessary at all. If he can pick off this vessel again, that would be so huge. And he is going to get it right before Irradiate finishes. And all of a sudden, it's looking a little dicey for Gypsy here. He is starting to get up a pretty nice ball of Marine medics here. So this should be able to force the Mutalisks back. And once the Mutalisks get forced back, if Gypsy can just stabilize, he'll still be in a good position. But he does need to be able to buy just a little bit of time to stabilize and get some turrets up and get a vessel with some energy for sure.
Yeah, 100%. If Hawk can keep this up and keep sniping those vessels as they come out, like Gypsy's economy is in shambles as well. He does have quite a few more SCVs than Hawk has drones, but he just started being able to mine from his natural again, and he still doesn't have a ton of turrets up. And only 3 barracks production for Marines and Medics. He's still pretty small M&M force. Hawk could still definitely win this.
I am very surprised that Gypsy is being so stingy with the turrets here. Normally, with 1-1-1, you're relying on the turrets, so you make so many more. And I think he just thought he had such an advantage that he could get away with it. But you can see how he's been punished twice already, losing both his vessels. I still don't see a third vessel out yet, so I'm sure it's sitting around somewhere, unless he just forgot to make it. Okay, there it is, sitting in the natural. Look at all the Marines just going down. I wonder if these Mutalisks have +1. They're definitely doing work right now. And look, he has a huge amount of Mutalisks right there waiting back. And he's going to try and snipe this. He needs to be so good with this split here, because if that Irradiate kills a lot of his Mutalisks, it's going to be a huge problem.
Wow, what an Irradiate. Oh my god, he split those so perfectly.
Yeah, that was a perfect split. That was about as good as you can get. Didn't even move and split all his Mutalisks, literally just picked out the one that was already irradiated and sent it away.
Yeah, that was... I don't even know how he did that. That was amazing. Because when I saw that irradiate, I thought those mutas were toast. That was like a perfect irradiate. It was at the very bottom of the muta stack.
Yeah, that was very, very impressive. But it's starting to look like he's still running out of steam here. He's on a clock here. The second a second vessel gets out, and now you have 2 vessels that you have to contend with, both gathering energy for irradiate. There's just no hope. And Gypsy is adding a lot more turrets here. His economy is way stronger than Hawk's, even though it is weak, like you said. He's starting to get up a big Marine force, and you can see Hawk's having to dive in on these vessels here, and if he can't pick them off, and there's so many Marines, his Mutalisks are taking so much damage. Look at how hurt all his Mutalisks are.
Yeah, very, very battered mutas for sure. He does have some fresh mutas at his rally, but yeah, it's definitely the time is running out. If he isn't able to do catastrophic damage to Gypsy, I don't think he's going to be able to stay in this game. And as it keeps going longer, it's getting more and more worrisome. He needs to go in for a killing blow here, I think. Is he still... does he not have a +1 on his mutas, or...?
So okay. He decided just not to get it. 2 gas starved, and then, oh my god, that Irradiate just wiped out the entire clump of Mutalisks, and I think that might have been the last breath.
Yeah, that was that really hurt.
Attack there.
It looks like that was a little bit of karma for the last muta split. That was right on top, but unfortunately Hawk was not able to get it off in time, and it pretty much decimated that entire muta squad.
That was 7 Mutalisks going down super quickly, and with the 2 vessels, you know, it's... Wow, he's fortunate there. It looks like Hawk either has the best karma with these Irradiates or the worst, because either instantly die or they kill an entire flock, you know?
Yeah, a bit of a double-edged sword there. It instantly died because it was so damaged already, and another beefy Irradiate here.
Oh my god. These Irradiates, man, they're so perfect, they're so awful. But yeah, that is gonna be it. I mean, this is only 8 Mutalisks, and 8 Mutalisks is never going to be able to bust Terran economy this strong, I don't believe.
Yeah, he's still on just 10 mining drones right now. 14 minutes in, it's probably not going to last too much longer, this game.
And Gypsy's had enough of this. He's just going to move across the map. He really doesn't have a big force here, but he doesn't really need it because there's only 1 sunken back at home. And 1 sunken is not going to stop 3 tanks. Look at his entire main has been cleaned up of SCVs, but it doesn't matter because I don't see how Hawk's holding this push.
Yeah, it really is a testament to Hawk's muta micro, honestly, that he was able to stay in this game so long after taking so much damage early. But yeah, it looks like it will be over shortly for sure.
That Irradiate just killed like 8 of Gypsy's own SCVs by just sitting over him. Pretty juicy, but yeah, once again, I don't think it's going to be enough here to keep Hawk in this game. You can see the supplies, both very low, but Gypsy definitely clear advantage. And yeah, how are you holding this? I don't see any chance that you're holding 3 tanks with 4 tanks with siege and a ball of Marines. Defend them. I think this is going to be it for sure.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the vessels to back these up. I'm guessing once the another... Well, I mean, the muses were so damaged, the irradiate didn't do too much damage to the stack, I guess. And still, this was a super scrappy game for sure. I mean, honestly, this was way closer than the first game. If Hawk can sort of pull himself together and just, get his economy up a little bit better next game, I definitely feel like he could be taking these games for sure. But as of now, it's 2-0 for Gypsy.
100%.
I do want to mention again for our new viewers who tuned in, we did announce our next event, Turf Wars. Turf Wars 2 will be happening starting around mid-May, and we are working on a fundraiser right now for that. I believe we got one $5 donation so far from Where Are Thee? So thank you very much for that. Unfortunately, I don't think we could get our donation graphic up for this stream tonight, but we will have that for our next streams. But yeah, please, if you enjoyed the first Turf Wars, consider donating for the second Turf Wars. For those unfamiliar, it's a North American Team League event filled with all the top players in North America. There's going to be a live draft. Last season it was a ton of fun. So yeah.
100%. Also consider dropping us a follow on Twitch if you like our content, and join our Discord for sure. Best way to stay up to date with all our latest events. And if you ever want to participate in any of our events, you definitely want to be in there. So yeah, but like you said, Keen, that game, Hawk made it much closer, right? And he had a way worse, early game for sure. He was pretty crippled, or not pretty crippled, but he took a lot of damage from that 8 racks, and then the Vulture got in. The Wraith got 3 Overlords, and somehow he still turned it into a pretty scrappy, close game, where there were moments there. There were definitely moments. If he could have gotten that 3rd vessel, maybe you can actually take that game,
Yeah, it was super close. I honestly, if Hawk just scraped out a few more drones, I feel like he definitely could have taken that. Maybe if he had enough resources to actually get like a +1 carapace or +1 weapons, he definitely could have ran away with that game. But he was just so poor. Honestly, I'm surprised he did as well as he could, getting his mutas out so late.
We also have to wonder about the build order of Gypsy too. He did go for the 1-1-1 there, so potentially not as familiar with that. His bread and butter is really that medic marine style, so perhaps that could have also played into why he was so shaky there. He obviously did not make that many turrets, and that could really have set him up for disaster. But we are going to be going into Polaris Rhapsody here for our 3rd map. Gypsy up 2-0, like you said. Keen, how do you feel about this map, man?
Well, like I said at the beginning of the stream, I do think that this is one of the better ZVT maps, simply because those pocket expansions in the corners, they are very wide open, so they're a little harder to defend, but they do have 2 gases, so they are basically like the easiest base to take is your 3rd base. And if you can defend those and get into hive tech with 4 gases right off the bat, you should be feeling very comfortable. 4 gas is kind of that sweet spot that people always talk about, where you can really produce quite a bit of ultras and still be able to keep up with the Scourge to deal with the vessels and the VCs and everything. So yeah, I really have high hopes that Hawk will be able to take this one.
Spawning in the top left, we do have the blue Terran Gypsy, and in the bottom right, as our red Zerg, we have Hawk. And do you think we're going to see another 8 racks here? No, looks like we're just going to get a depot. So getting a very early wall here. So it looks like we are going to see an expansion out of Gypsy here, most likely coming up pretty quickly here. And probably it's looking like at least another 12 hatch here out of Hawk.
Yeah, honestly, it looks like Gypsy is going to go for a wall as natural here. And to wall here, you have to make 2 depots and then have the barracks at the bottom. So the Marines will actually... Oh, okay, never mind. I spoke too soon. I guess I don't know how the walls work on this map.
I believe that Marine will still pop out on the wrong side of the wall there, if I'm not mistaken. It might pop out on the left, but...
They do pop out at the bottom, yeah. And I'm not sure if this wall will even be Ling type. Interesting. But yeah, either way, if Hawk went for a pool first, he might have been able to punish that a little bit. But as of now, based on what I'm seeing, I'm guessing Gypsy is just going to go for another like pre 230 minute, 2 minute and 30 second command center timing. And with that added security from the wall, he'll probably be able to go straight into like a +1 4 racks, which is very, very. It's kind of like +1 5 racks, but against 2 hatch, and it's very hard for Zerg to deal with if they can't punish it at all early.
We see another super fast gas here out of Hawk, so probably going for another 2 hatch here. How do you feel about that, Keen? Do you think we'll see any 3 hatches this entire series, or have you? I mean, you watch Hawk more than I do. Is he mostly a 2 hatch player?
These days, he's definitely mostly a 2 attributed player for sure. I know that's what he's been practicing the most, but I do also know that in the past he has been a big advocate for 3 hatch builds, especially like third builds where he gets a very fast third, and just going like kind of fast lurker into fast hive and just using lurkers for defense and getting an early economy going. I would like to see that from him at some point just to mix things up, but it does look like he's just going to go for a regular 2 attribute here.
And I think that Marine, proving your point there, that wall is definitely not link tied, so early links could have really posed a huge problem here to Gypsy. Fortunately for him, Hawk going for that hatch first there. He does get the SCV really early this game, though, so if he wanted to switch things up, he could throw down that Hydra Den, but I think we're just going to be sticking with the Spire here by the looks of things.
Yeah, I feel like we would already be seeing the Hydra Den come down if it was going to be lurkers. I do kind of hope that Hawk does switch it up a little bit, whether it be 3 hatch builds or some kind of early lane aggression, because honestly, I mean, all jokes aside, TVZ is very good for the Terran, and if Zerg just plays the same macro style every game and just stays predictable, I feel like it's very hard to win a best of series.
Zerg definitely the race that, is probably got some of the most effective cheeses, most effective aggressive builds in the game, and sometimes those builds really need to be utilized to take a series for sure. So we'll have to see if Hawk wants to bring anything like that out during this series. Obviously, 2 hatch is a very aggressive build, but if that's the only build you're doing, Gypsy's not the type of player that's just going to lose to a 2 hatch mutalist build most of the time, right? Unless it's, insane godly muta control. Typically, he's going to be able to hold it off.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he doesn't skimp on the turrets like we saw last game, he'll definitely be able to do okay. But I mean, Gypsy, like you said, he's a very skilled player. He scouts. He's going to get a scan on time this game, obviously, so he'll be able to see exactly what Hawk is doing. And if he catches any whiff that Hawk is going all in with mutas, he'll just know that all he has to do is sit in his base, spam turrets, and survive.
We see a very fast 3rd hatchery in base here from Hawk. How do you feel about that, Keen?
Well, yeah, so this is interesting. Like I said, the 3rd hatchery is coming down at a time where you would normally see the 3rd hatchery taking the 3rd base, but this kind of indicates that it is going to be a muta all in here, and Gypsy still doesn't have any 2nd racks up. He's teching very quickly. He has a starport going already. His eBay is almost finished, so if he doesn't respect this, honestly, he might make us eat our words, and he could definitely die to a muta all in here.
Now, what we did see out of Gypsy there was an armory, so we know what that means. That means we're going to have some Valkyries on the way here. But these Valkyries are not going to be in time. He's going to get the turrets down just now, cutting it extremely close because these Mutalisks almost getting to his base. And once again, he's skimping so hard on turrets. Only 1 turret defending these 2 racks that are coming up. That's not going to be enough. And both these Raxes could get canceled if Hawk just wants to go for it. No medics for these Marines yet, and I don't even know if they have stim. This is looking super scary.
Yeah, these Marines are going to get completely cleaned up here. There's just going to be 1 medic, and he can pick that off for sure. 2 more mutas here. It's hard to actually kill that turret when there's SUVs surrounding it and repairing it, but this is a very precarious situation for Gypsy right now.
And look at how much is just available for Hawk to pick off here. If he wants, he has 2 free depots he can take here. He could have stopped those 2 barracks from going up if he had really wanted to. I'm surprised he didn't go for it with only 1 turret defending it. That would have been so devastating. We really need these Valkyries to get out here quickly. I don't think Hawk has any idea until he sees it just now, and now he's going to start to realize that the Valkyries are going to be the response there, but already doing a lot of damage with these early Mutilas.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like he should have had a little bit of an inkling when he did see the low Marine count. He saw the 2 barracks that were very, very late. So I'm surprised that he didn't add Scourge earlier, but it looks like he's already transferring into Lurkers here. Already finished with some Hydras. I don't know how far along the Lurker aspect is, but I mean, given that Gypsy went for this committed Valkyrie build, he's so far behind on his Marine medic production. If he doesn't get vessels out soon, he could get very, very punished by these early Lurkers. And he doesn't even have a science facility going so far as I know, or...
I don't see it either. I think he's still making Valkyries here, so he is convinced that there is a lot of Mutilas coming, and there's not a lot of Mutilas coming. We only see 6. This is the initial 6 that he made. Maybe he's made 1 or 2 more. He does have a lot of Scourge here too now to help deal with the Valkyries. But yeah, this is going to catch Gypsy off guard. That third base is going to be up so quickly with Hive on the way and Lurkers already defending it. And Gypsy's not going to have that same, devastating amount of Marines that he did in the first game. This is looking good for Hawk, man.
Yeah, really, really good. The Valkyries will just be completely useless, honestly. Like if you're not going all in Muta, the only thing that they can really do is, potentially defend vessels from Scourge and maybe pick off a couple Overlords. But I mean, really, their utility is pretty reduced if there's not a lot of Mutas to fight.
We'll have to see how Hawk wants to keep going on this game. I was kind of hoping it might want to be a little bit more aggressive with these Lurkers, but playing defensively and getting these double gases down bottom left is also very viable here. Looks like Gypsy's going to be pushing down there. He does scan it. He does see it. I don't know if he's aware of the Lurkers quite yet. So yeah, could definitely catch him off guard here. I don't think they were quite in scan. If those are hold position Lurkers, that could be pretty devastating if Gypsy just walks his whole army in there.
Yeah, but there are 2 pathways to that base here.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Gypsy is going through the kind of center of the map rather than... okay, well, Hawk will be able to defend this location as well with these Lurkers, so he should be totally fine here. And wow, the Valkyrie is actually doing quite a bit of damage. They picked off the Scourge before they were able to do anything. And they're going to pick off these Mutas as well. So he could potentially actually get some Overlord kills if he's gutsy enough with these. And this is actually kind of scary. He doesn't have any Lurkers at his natural.
Yeah, this is very scary. This is a lot of Marines running into the natural. He's running back with 3 Lurkers right now, and I think that'll be enough to just barely hold here. Once again, Hawk cutting it very close there. Very scary, but with those getting up, I think he should be fine here. Valkyries, like you said, can be a little bit annoying. Picking off these Overlords, definitely not what Hawk wants to be losing right now, but not too bad. And with him being able to save that, oh my god, just kill it. Just
wow,
kill it.
Oh my god.
He wanted...
Scourge are so disappointing, dude.
Well, he wanted the second Valkyrie, so he ran past the first one since it was so low, but a little bit of a mistake there. Just take what you can get sometimes, right?
Yeah, for sure. And now, I mean, Gypsy knows that the Lurkers had to move back to his natural so he can go straight through this kind of central pathway here. And if he kills this third, Hawk is going to be in trouble.
Yeah, he does have the 3 Lurkers here. 3 Lurkers should be enough to hold off the small amount of Marines, unless they're microed perfectly like this, which is looking very, very good. He runs back with a little bit of the Lurkers there, trying to get a better... and more Marines coming in. Gypsy coming from all angles, dude, and this base is going down so quickly here.
Yeah, this is really disappointing to see. Gypsy is just perfectly exploiting the multiple pathways here. Hawk was, I mean, like you said, I'm surprised that Hawk wasn't more aggressive with his Lurkers, honestly. If he added more Lurkers sooner and actually, just had them at the natural, I think he could have done quite a bit of damage, or at least delayed the move out here. But it looks like he actually went for Guardians, which is really surprising to me. I don't know if he was planning for a Hydra Guardian attack on this map.
It's starting to look that way. He has a lot of Hydralists in this army, too. I wonder if those Hydras have +1 there. No +1 on them. But there is a lot of them. They don't even have speed yet, I don't believe. Maybe it just finished up. I believe it just finished up. So now he does have speed. It is looking like it is going to be a Hydra Guardian push, but I think he's already taken too much damage here. I don't think this is going to be effective. Look at the supplies, Keen. Taking, almost a 50 supply lead.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about Hydra Guardian is it's very expensive. Guardians, you have to build mutas and then transform them into Guardians. So they take a lot of minerals, a lot of gas. And then Hydras also cost a small amount of gas, but it's just a lot of minerals, a lot of gas that you need overall. And losing that third and losing those 2 extra gases really kind of puts a hurt on this, the potential for this Hydra Guardian to do anything.
For sure. I mean, he's only got 3 Guardians. You really need a big critical mass of Guardians to make his carry like 7 or 8, right? Like 3 is not scary at all, because 3, that's 2 irradiates and you're already down to 1, and 1 Guardian can't even kill a Marine, really.
And then having to move through this narrow bridge is going to be very hard for the Hydras. Like, honestly, like you said, you need a critical mass, and you need it at a critical time too. You need it before Terran is able to get a lot of vessels or a lot of wraiths or another like Valkyries or any other kind of unit that can deal with them. But it's already almost 13 minutes into the game. This is really hard. I don't think Hawk is going to be able to do anything with this attack.
It doesn't look like it. And once again, this is sort of an all-in attack, right? Like, he doesn't have a third base going up behind this. This needs to do critical damage. This needs to win the game. And I'm having a hard time seeing that happen right now.
Yeah. I think Gypsy is definitely going to run away with this. His macro is starting to kick in. He has all his production facilities up. He has tanks on the way. And yeah, there's no way he's going to do anything, and he taps out. Really, really unfortunate.
Super unfortunate. Such a good opening from Hawk. He did so much damage with those early Mutalisks. I think he could have gotten a little bit more done with them, but even just transitioning straight into the Lurkers seemed like a good play. You have to have them in good positioning, though. Like, that's the key with Lurkers, right? They're not good if they're just, way out of position, or if they can get surrounded from multiple sides. That's why, being more aggressive with them could have been the play there, because then you're only dealing with the Marines coming from one direction that whole time. Especially when the Marine count is that low, you can really get a lot of work done.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I think Hawk probably had that game plan in mind, and he just wanted to commit to it. I do like the idea behind it, because Hydra Guardian is a very, very strong build if you can get your economy up and running and hit your timings exactly as you need to. But you just really unfortunate losing that third when he did, but very well played by Gypsy.
Yeah, definitely very well played by Gypsy. Looks like we're going to be going into Eclipse here. And, at the start of this show match, Keen, we both talked how we were a little worried for Hawk here, just because Gypsy's TVZ is so strong. And I'm starting to get more than just a little worried. I think we might be heading towards like a shutout territory if Hawk can't figure something out here quickly.
Yeah, I would really hate to see a sweep either way. We will see all 7 games regardless, so there is that. But yeah, I do hope that Hawk can, like I said, maybe pull out something a little unconventional or a little more aggressive, and just kind of throw Gypsy off kilter here. I feel like Gypsy, he's been playing extremely well, but I do feel like he's looked a little shaky in pretty much every game so far. So I feel like Hawk is just like 1 inch away from kind of throwing Gypsy off. And if he can pull that one victory off, I think we could definitely see a more competitive series here.
100%. There has definitely been vulnerabilities in Gypsy's play. Hawk just hasn't been able to exploit them enough to get the win yet. So we're going to have to see if he can change that this game. I'd really like to see Hawk change it up somehow this game, right? He's gone for the 2-hatch every single game, and Gypsy's looked relatively comfortable, except for that last game where, the Valkyries were a little bit late there. I think Gypsy getting a little creative with the Valkyrie build there. It's not one I see him do too often. But, once the Valkyries were out, despite them not really doing much, he was still just able to power through and macro through and take the win, man. So once again, he's going for this wall down here on the low ground. This is very common on Eclipse because it is a full wall, and you can definitely get that command center up very quickly with it.
I'm honestly surprised that Hawk chose Eclipse, because honestly, I think it's one of the worst maps in the entire map pool for Zerg, especially against Terran. And we see here this wall is one of the reasons for that. It just allows Terran to very securely get their expansion up right away with very minimal Marine production. And as we see, as we've seen so far, I mean, when Gypsy is able to just like run away with the game like that without having any pressure on him whatsoever in the early game, I mean, he's just a force to be reckoned with. It's really hard to keep up with him. So yeah, like 9 pool couldn't have really done anything here. We'll have to see how Hawk follows up.
Yeah, I don't even feel like this is a great map for Mutalisk Harass. The main, it's so hard to get to that main mineral line. It's very easy to defend with just a couple of turrets, I feel like. The natural is a little bit more exposed, definitely, but, just a couple turrets there, and you should feel pretty comfortable in that regard, too. We're going to see that command center go down right away here for Gypsy, very similar to his previous game's build. No Marine because he can scout right away. That's one of the big advantages of this map. You don't have to worry about making that second depot in case you need Marines or anything like that. You can just get away with that super fast command center. And Hawk, it looks like he's going for a 2-hatch again, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even, like, on some maps you can go like an early 6 lanes to at least force a bunker out when they go that early 230 command center timing, but you can't even do that on Eclipse because like we pointed out, there's this wall. So just one SEV and one Marine will, or a couple Marines rather, will be like more than enough to stop any kind of early aggression. So Gypsy is just going to get his build off with almost no investment in fighting units. And yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of worried.
Definitely a little worried here. Once again, I'm curious to see if Hawk is going to switch anything up, but it looks like he's just going to keep playing the same way he's been playing. Big advertisement for Tracy's Armory there. I hope you guys all check them out. They're a big sponsor of ours. So
yeah, Tracy's Armory really just dominates the arms sales on pretty much every map. Dude, they need to do something about this gross monopoly. I mean, have you seen like Plasma? They just have stores just like covering that entire map. It's really gross.
It is really upsetting. The Dominion has really gone to shit, man. I was a proud citizen of the Dominion, but it's really let me down lately. I might have to go over to the Protoss Federation, dude.
Yeah. I mean, who wants to play this like gross overpowered race anyway? I mean, just look at this. Terran can literally do anything in this matchup and win. I mean, just Marines alone counter like every single Zerg unit. And come on. You can make Valkyries, which like literally don't do anything except kill air units. But guess what? It turns out fucking Zerg, their supply depots are actually air units. So like, dude,
always effective. Always effective.
It's just absurd. I mean, honestly, Blizz needs to do something about this gross imbalanced matchup. Come on.
Looks like Gypsy not able to get the scout off there. Doesn't see the Spire timing, but he is going for the 2-Rex, and 2-Rex is always so strong against 2-Edge Spire. Not strong, but always, an effective build to it. Looks like Gypsy's wall there wasn't quite completely tight there. I was wondering about that earlier because I was like, did he put that barracks in the right spot? And it kind of looked a little bit off, so did the depot. So looks like he's just going to walk right through. So once again, kind of fortunate that Hawk didn't make those 6 slings because they would have run right in and potentially gotten some sick damage done.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's actually a normal thing. If Hawk did make early lanes, he would have just blocked with one SCV. But yeah, very, very early Marine Medic move out here. It looks like he's actually going to be going for the 3rd, as Tim pointed out. And I don't know if he'll be able to actually kill it, but he'll definitely be able to put some pressure on. Hawk's mutas are already on the way, so I'm hoping that he'll be able to clean this up in time. It is a very small Marine Medic force. But wow, actually forcing a cancel out, it was almost done too. I don't know if that was the right choice. I feel like he has mutas out already. Only 2, but wow, what a play. So he actually forced Hawk to make Sunkens at his natural because he was afraid of this fast Marine Medic move out. And he canceled his 3rd because he wasn't able to even make 4 or 5 mutas, only 2. Now he's
Sunken 2 forced already. This is so much economy taken away from Hawk early in this game already.
Yeah, and I don't know with those extra Sunkens if he's just going to go straight into Hydras or what his game plan is here.
Another canceled hatchery. 3. That's 2 canceled hatcheries. Obviously, you get most of the minerals back, but it's really the time that hurts, right? Those are hatcheries that aren't going to be finished for so much longer. That hatchery would be already producing units and making drones right now, and it is so delayed. And if Gypsy wants, he might even be able to go back there again. He's got enough back at home to defend. I feel like he could send this group of Marines all the way back to the third base and force another cancel if Hawk's not careful.
Yeah. I mean, wow, this is very, very strange. And so I guess Hawk, with all those Sungins, I feel like he has to go on with mutas here. He'll only really need to defend one location. I mean, if he can get that third up, it'll be a bonus, but it'll be so late at this point. If he just goes all in with mutas, maybe he can do some catastrophic damage here.
He's droning up pretty significantly here. Fortunately, I mean, like, the big difference this game, at least for Hawk, is that he does have that third base going up again. Previous in the other two games where he was more all in, he didn't have any kind of third base, and it didn't look like he had any intentions of ever taking one. Dropping the Hydralisk end now, he's going to be switching into Lurkers, it looks like. So definitely not going to be seeing a Mutalisk all in. He does have a lot of Mutalisks here. We'll have to see if he wants to, or how aggressive he wants to be. He needs to get something done, though, because he's definitely behind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, killing this turret would be a good start for sure. Does he have any... Yeah, no muta upgrades yet. So he is going to have to be very careful with this Marine medic group. And he's... I almost wish he would be a little more aggressive trying to pick off Marines, though. This whole series, he's been very, very cautious about engaging any of Gypsy's Marines.
Definitely. And Gypsy doesn't have that critical amount of Marines, and he's, once again, he doesn't have a lot of turrets here. So if you could pick off, 7, 8 Marines, suddenly that could snowball where, I mean, like, his natural has so many turrets, right? Like, it's tough to break the natural here with this many turrets. He's doing a good job, though. He's already picked up 2 of the turrets. Going to get this third one here, and all of a sudden he's going to have free reigns on a lot of the SCVs here. Gypsy going to move out across the map with his Marines, it looks like, to try and force the Mutalisk back. This is what a lot of Terrans do when your natural is being harassed like this. You have to force the Zerg away, and to do that, you take all your Marines and you move out across the map with them.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, that's not the scariest Marine medic force. I feel like Hawk could just squash this pretty easily. He is moving back with his mutas, and we saw quite a few more mutas. He has about 14, well, okay, 13 now. But he does have excellent scouting on the map. So just a few more Zerglings and a few more mutas, and I think he can crush this force pretty easily.
Good micro here, already picking up quite a few. Big thing is you don't want these Marines to ever either be able to make it back home and recombine with the bigger ball, or obviously get to your third base or anything like that. Gypsy's sending out another group of Marines here, trying to grow this little army that he has out on the map. Super important that Hawk doesn't allow this to happen, because obviously Marines get infinitely stronger, the more of them there are. Their DPS just scales so well.
Yeah, it's really hard to deal with Marines when they start hitting a critical mass, and unfortunately Hawk was a little too afraid of this Marine medic force, so he was, he wasn't positioning between the Marine medic army and the main, and he did allow them to reconnect. But wow, okay, if he can burrow these in time, it should be good.
He is going to get a burrow in time. This should protect him. Is he going to go for a fight here? No, he's going to run these Lurkers around. He might actually be going to the natural with these. If Gypsy doesn't notice that, I feel like he must have noticed that these Lurkers have suddenly disappeared. He's going to try and clean up the Lurkers that are here. 2 are about to pop here. One's going to instantly disappear there, not able to even get burrowed or come into existence, I should say. And we do have the 5 Lurkers here, but Gypsy's got a big Marine ball just waiting at his natural. He's more than ready for this.
Yeah, that's a very, very gutsy. Wow, okay, this is not... Oh, no. Yeah, I guess
I think hoping to catch him off guard there, and unable to do so. And you can see quick GG there after losing the 5 Lurkers.
Yeah, that really hurts to see. I guess he really was... That was basically a Hail Mary, and he was really hoping that there wouldn't be any units at the natural. And just catch Gypsy completely off guard. But yeah, very rough game. That's, like I was saying from the beginning, that's kind of one of the problems that I have with Eclipse. It's just very easy for Terran to just control the game the entire time, because they can play very unafraid early on, simply because they can wall off both positions and just not have to worry about Ling all-ins at all.
100%. And, Gypsy was able to get such a strong early economy. His Marine timing was faster than Hawk was expecting because of that. He didn't have to make any Marines before his command center. He had that super fast 230 command center. Able to get his second rack so much faster because of that. Able to get out a couple more Marines because of that, and was able to push out with just like a very small 8 Marine, 2 medic force. And Hawk had 2 Mutalists. How are you going to stop that,
Yeah, it's really, really tough. I do hope that, it looks like Hawk is maybe kind of, getting a little tilted here, maybe. It's really tough to keep going in a series like this, especially when all games are going to be played. So, Gypsy has officially won the best of 7, but we're still going to play out the next 3 games. I do hope that Hawk can kind of pull things together and maybe throw in some cheeses or just, have some kind of fun, interesting builds, maybe do something a little unorthodox to catch Gypsy unaware. But yeah, hopefully he gets at least a couple games on the board.
100%. It gets there reaches a certain point where you get so demoralized that it's tough to fight back. You start playing just so much worse than you usually do because you've already hit that point of, oh my god, this just fucking sucks, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But hopefully Hawk has that mental resilience to keep giving it his all, keep trying his best. And yeah, hopefully we can see him take this game here. We're going to be going into game 5 here, Ringing Bloom. And in the bottom right as the blue Terran, we're going to be having Gypsy. And in the bottom left as the red Zerg, we have Hawk. And yeah, let's see what Hawk wants to do. This is a pretty unique map with that in-base natural there. Do you think we're going to see anything special with that or not really?
Well, we could see. It's not as common against Terran as it is against Protoss, but there are those Cerebrats there which allow for Zerg to build at any base because it is a little bit of a creep under there. So there is a possibility of sunken rush, drone rushing, but it looks like Hawk is already going up to 9 drones, so there's pretty limited potential that we're going to see any kind of offensive sunken shenanigans. I do think that this is kind of, we've seen stunning performances from Hawk in ZVP on this matchup, so it is kind of one of his favorite maps, I think. But 8 racks right in the middle of the map, right off the bat here. Gypsy is not giving Hawk any time to breathe. He doesn't care that it's 4-0. He's really just turning the knife here, and if this catches Hawk off guard, well, it could be a lot of trouble, but it is so far out as well. If Hawk can actually get some lings up and not take too much damage from this, I don't know. Gypsy might have to pay for this a little bit.
Definitely, and obviously it's a little bit harder to, the creep is already out there in the main, so you can't just drop a bunker right next to the hatchery and kill a hatchery that way,
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more difficult that way, but because it's a little bit more difficult to do that, it's also something that can definitely catch Hawk more off guard. You also have to remember that the Marines are instantly showing up right on top of the drones, and that is sometimes going to cause a player to panic even more, right? If you see 3 Marines show up right at your base and you don't have anything out yet, you might grab all your drones to pull instead of being calculating and grabbing 7 or 8,
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll have to see how Hawk reacts to this. It's going to be super important. This Overlord is going to probably see the Marines once they come here, but it's going to be a lot of Marines showing up, man, because he's scouting so late. It's going to be 3 Marines showing up, right on time here, and he's going to be following up with that factory again. So he's going up for 3 factories, and this is once again, going up for that quick factory again. And once again, this is not a big investment from Gypsy here. 1 SCV, 3 Marines, not committing anything more than just those 3 Marines here. And yeah, we'll have to see how much damage this can get done. Those should already be lings popping. So fortunately for Hawk,
he didn't even scout those with the. Oh my god! So is he even making 2 lings? Okay, there's 2 lings, but that's not going to be enough to deal with 3 Marines.
Yeah, 1 already going down. Drone getting sniped right away. 2nd drone going down.
Oh man, 3 drones. That really hurts. But he is going to be able to clean this up now.
But like I said, he pulled every single drone there, so his entire economy comes to a screeching halt, even for however brief it is. And then his drone spreads, they all get sent back to the same mineral patch there. You know, it's tough to do all these multitasking things at once, right? And now Hawk is aware that, hey, there's probably a vulture coming, so he's going to try and drop that sunken down right away. I think he's going to be in time this time, much earlier sunken timing there, so he won't have to worry quite as much about that vulture getting in, I don't believe.
One thing that is a little iffy about this vulture is that the sunken will be on the far side of that choke, so Hawk will have to have a couple lings at least to defend the other side and stop the vulture from just running in with taking like maybe one hit at most. So this is still very kind of a tough situation here. Oh my God. Okay. Wow, that was really.
I almost just fucking. Oh man, I almost felt so dejected for Hawk there, but he just barely stops it, dude. That would have been so tilting if that had gotten in. He needs to be careful because another one's coming, and Gypsy is going to try the exact same thing again.
Yeah, if he can, I mean, Hawk does have. He knows what could possibly be coming right now, especially after seeing that vulture. So he does have Hydras out already. The Wraith rather should not do too much damage, but I mean, a lot of damage has already been done. Hawk he wasn't able to get his 2 hatchery muta off exactly how he wanted. He lost 2 or 3 drones to the Marines. And then being forced to make that Hydra Den is just, all this stuff adds up. So his mutas are going to be quite a bit later than he would have liked. And as long as he defends, he's still in, but it's a tough situation for sure.
At least this time he's not taking huge Overlord damage and economic damage there. So that's going to be fortunate for him. Probably won't lose a single Overlord here unless Gypsy is able to find one on the edge of the map here. But that would be pretty lucky for Gypsy. I don't think he's going to scout all that way up there and find it. So definitely a better transition out of the first 8 racks for sure. After the first 8 racks, it looked pretty hopeless when he lost all 3 Overlords. This time not losing any. His supply is much closer to Gypsy, and yeah, potentially we can still see a pretty good game out of this one.
Yeah, for sure. As long as he gets his mutas up on time, he did really surprisingly well in the game on Ascension. So he's in better shape this time, like you said. And as long as he keeps cool and really micros his heart out, I feel like he could definitely pull out a win here.
For sure. We're going to see that Vulture try to run by here, taking a lot of damage already. It's going to get picked off by this Hydralisk real quick. He is going to see the Mutalisk, which is nice for him at least, so he knows the follow-up here. Already has 2 Wraiths out, getting Cloak there, so that's going to be able to help defend against these Mutalisk turrets. Perfectly timed this time around. Once again, he doesn't have a ton of them, but he's really relying on these Wraiths to help him out.
Yeah, I'm wondering what Hawk is planning with this drone here. Is this just a mistake, or is he going for some sort of... I think it's just a misrally drone.
I have to assume it's a misrally drone. That would have been absolutely crazy if he tried to drop a sunken down there. If he had a couple more Hydralisks, potentially he could try to do something crazy like that. But with the Mutalisk follow-up, definitely not going to be as effective. You can see the Cloak down there, able to chase these Mutalisks back. And these Mutalisks haven't done anything. Last time they were so dangerous, but guess he does have to wait for that Overlord speed. I think it just finished. I think we see some Overlords moving across the map right now. They are. So he's going to try to use these Overlords to help him get some economic damage here. Gypsy not being nearly as stingy this time around. Last time I think we saw 1 or maybe 2 turrets in the natural and 1 in the main, and this time we're already seeing 4 in the natural. Losing the... Oh, both the Wraiths taking a ton of damage. Might actually get them all with 1 more ball.
Oh, so close. I can't believe he was able to save those. That was so close. Yeah. But honestly, really, really perfectly timed Overlord speed from Hawk. He knew exactly what to expect this time. I was going to say that, the Wraith, the Cloaked Wraiths are like a huge nuisance, just having to delay and wait until Overlord speed is finished. But if Hawk can do some damage to these turrets here, there's only 1 turret there. He's extremely vulnerable. He could do a lot of damage to these SCVs.
And I talked about him not being as stingy this time around, but look at the main. I mean, unfortunately for him, oh, he gets the Wraith right before the Overlord goes down. That is huge. Now the main is completely undefended. There's not a single turret in here, and you can get right on top of these barracks. He has Scourge in the main. If that's a Vessel popping out, that Vessel is not going to be long for this world, man.
Yeah, this is a great position for Hawk. This is definitely his game to win. He got Overlord blocked a little bit because he lost that Overlord that allowed him to kill the race. But yeah, he should be able picking off that Vessel. That's perfect. Dude, I think he's going to win this game.
It's definitely looking that way. Still no mining in the main, and I don't know how Gypsy ever gets his main back. Look at the supplies. Hawk taking a dominating lead in supplies here. He's comfortably on 2 bases here. He's got his 3rd base going up right now. Going to be able to get that up in mining. Perfectly fine, perfectly safe there. Making drones behind this. And how does Gypsy ever retake his main, man? He's got nothing here to help. These Marines are never going to get out. He's sending SCVs back to mine like it's his base, but it's not his base. It's Hawk. Hawk taking his 1st game of the series, man.
That was great. Like you said, Gypsy, he wasn't stingy with the turrets, but he was really placing all of his turrets facing Hawk's base, and he was really counting on the fact that Hawk would be too scared to go in at the angle that he did. But yeah, that was really, really well played.
And Hawk just being more aggro with his Mutalisk. And in the 2 games, he's been more aggressive with his Mutalisk. I feel like he's found more success too,
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, throughout the series, it seems like he was giving a little too much respect to Gypsy's Marines. I mean, it is very intimidating sometimes to engage a big Marine medic ball. But yeah, like you do have to, you can't play scared in this matchup for sure. And I think Hawk definitely has the Mutamicro to do some critical damage for sure.
And demonstrating it that game, definitely there. So Hawk taking his 1st game of the series. Would really love to see him take a couple more here just to make this series look a little bit closer, right?
Absolutely. While we're waiting for our next game to start, I just want to point out yet again that we did announce Turf Wars 2. We'll have more information coming up about that. Shortly we'll have a Team Liquid post and everything. But if you guys enjoyed the first Turf Wars event last year, please consider donating. We would love to have a bigger prize pool. We are sponsored for $500 by Esports Fund, but we would love to match our previous prize pool of over $1,000 from last time. So yeah, if you enjoy our events, please consider donating.
Really, if you just enjoy the storied history of NA, such a rich StarCraft history, so many great players, so many great faces. There's Just Too Juicy, that's me. Obviously, everyone loves me. So if you like me, which of course you do, I mean, come on, you should donate.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like you, right? You're one of the you can't think of North American Brood War without thinking of Just. Really one of the preeminent personalities.
Really be the first name that comes to everybody's mind.
Yeah, I mean. There's Just, like, obviously number 1 by far is Just, and then like way far down in 2nd place there's like someone like Artosis, but he doesn't even come close to the stardom that you have.
Yeah, I'm not even sure who you're talking about there.
Yeah, well, you can't concern yourself with the opinions of people below you. So
yeah, I just don't have the time. I have to keep writing all my fangirls, and they constantly sending me messages, emails, texts, grinder messages.
Not just fangirls, right? I mean,
fanboys too. Yeah, I said grinder. Yeah. Don't worry, I mentioned it.
Oh, okay. I was feeling a little left out.
Don't you worry, Keen. I would never forget you. Talk about the game a little bit. Top right, we have Hawk. Bottom left, we have Gypsy. Hawk going for that 12 patch. Gypsy going for just a normal opener here. Looks like he's not going to get that first scout off here, so we're probably going to have to see second depot go down, unless he's just feeling confident, because Hawk has yet to do any early aggression this whole series.
Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of freedom, I feel like, now that Hawk knows that he already lost the best of 7. I don't know. I'd love to see him throw in like an early pool of these ones, but I mean, I do feel like 9 pools are kind of sort of a little weak, but I mean, we did see Gypsy get knocked out of Rogue City Rumble, for example, by Crossy, going like 4 pool and 9 pool like repeatedly. And Crossy has shown time and time again that he's had pretty great success just like throwing in these random early pools and catching Terrans off guard.
100%. Sometimes you just have to have that killer instinct, especially in a 7-game series, like throw something crazy in once in a while, see what happens, Gypsy's, thrown in a couple 8-racks. He's obviously been more aggressive this series than I think he typically is in his normal practice games, and it's paid off. At least one of the games it paid off very well for him, and I don't think you can blame his loss on Ringing Bloom at all on the 8-racks, right? That 8-racks did work. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. By the same token, though, I wonder if there is a little bit of like, psychology in the work here, where like, Hawk is kind of resting on his laurels a little bit. He just won Roxy Rumble, and his stream is very successful right now. So maybe he's just feeling a little too comfortable, a little too complacent. Whereas Gypsy has that chip on his shoulder. He's he did well in Ascension, but he really wants to prove himself.
Of course, Keen is talking about that decadence that all great empires eventually descend into, and we could see the collapse here, man. The collapse of the Hawk Empire.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's just a momentary lull and it's not a trend or anything. But who knows?
This is like when Hannibal was at the gates of Rome. This is their wake up call,
Yeah, for sure. But we'll have to see. I do hope that Hawk can continue the trend and keep playing aggressive with those mutas and keep just punishing Gypsy for his disgusting greed.
For sure. Just able to save that one SCV there by sending out those 4 Marines. Gypsy taking every advantage that he can here, trying to keep every advantage, getting the full scout off here with the second SCV. I love how he sent out a second SCV every single time. It can be so easy for a Zerg if they snipe that first SCV to just make 8 lanes real quickly and send them across the map, and then if they snipe all your Marines while you're macroing for just a second, that's game when 6 Mutilas show up after that. I love how extensively Gypsy has been scouting this entire series.
Yeah, and taking that early economic hit doesn't really make that much of a difference because TVZ is just such an easy matchup where as long as you survive and wait until you have these units that are called science vessels where you can literally just click on units that you don't like and then they'll just die, and then you can keep doing that like every 30 seconds or so. That pretty much just wins the game no matter what happens. So
what a lot of Zerg players don't realize is that Marines are actually auto-casted. You just right-click on it on the barracks, and it'll just auto-produce Marine at no cost to the Terran, just constantly pumping them out, right? So that's why they're so effective.
I mean, when you watch Artos' stream and you see his resources shoot up like that, it's not because he has bad macro. He's actually one of the most skilled macros on the planet. It's just because Marines actually don't cost any money. That's why his resources get so high off of just 2 bases.
And that's why it's so impressive that Gypsy is constantly able to keep his resources down.
Yeah, I honestly don't even know how he does it. It's mind-boggling.
And we're going to be seeing a lot of barracks here very, very quickly. This is going up to more barracks than Gypsy normally goes up to, already going up to 4 there. So we're going to be seeing heavier Marine production here and slightly slower vessels. Turrets getting up just in the nick of time yet again here. Gypsy so immaculate with that turret timing this series. We're going to have to see if these Mutilas can get anything done, man. 6 units here already.
Yeah, and like you pointed out, Gypsy isn't messing around with any crazy fast starport build here. He's not making Valkyries. He's not going for early science vessels. He's just going for his bread and butter, very quick 4 racks. So yeah, I don't know. I know this is Gypsy's kind of strength here. I'm hoping that Hawk can still find some weaknesses, but who knows?
Getting a couple good Marine snipes already, though. Being a little bit more aggressive with his Mutilas. Diving in again. I think he wants to find the same success he found last time. This is a lot of turrets in the natural, though. I think the main is where you really want to be targeting if you're going to do this, but he wants to also have an escape route here.
Yeah.
He's managing to thread the needle very well there, actually.
Really, really nice job finding the weakness. This is exactly what you need to do with Zerg. I see a lot of Zergs kind of... they tunnel vision on one part of the Terran base, and then the Terran just knows that they can just make a bunch of turrets in that one location and neglect the rest of their base. But Hawk is finally kind of making the connection here that, Gypsy is... He's not skimping on turrets per se, but he is concentrating them in just 1 or 2 areas and leaving vulnerabilities.
Definitely. Hawk already with his third base up. Gypsy does scout it there with that scan, so he knows where it is. He's going to try and push out across the map. This is a good angle for the Mutalisk, though. You have to remember that the Marines don't necessarily have vision of the Mutalisk until they shoot there when they're running up the ramp like that. So definitely can be really effective way to get some free shots off here.
Yeah, very nice micro by Hawk so far.
Picking off a lot of Marines here already. He's managed to get quite a few. Did lose 2 Mutalisks for that, but he's traded pretty effectively so far. This Marine Ball, once again, it's not that scary. 11 Mutalisks is definitely enough that it can whittle this group down and definitely save his third and defend it.
Yeah, I mean, it does hurt to lose mutas, but as long as you keep trading with Marines, I feel like you're in an okay place. As long as you don't let them reach critical mass. When they do just... Or when you don't pick off any Marines whatsoever and they get to like 2 or 3 supply control groups of Marines, it's just insanely hard to deal with. Even if you have like 4 or 5 Sunkens, they can just mow through that.
Hawk also forcing a lot of stims here. Those medics are very low in energy. They're not going to be healing nearly as effectively anymore with how low in energy they are. You can see how long it takes them to heal up all those Marines again.
Yeah, really, really nice. And he is transitioning to Hive, I believe, off of this. So yeah, already started Hive. And really positioning his mutas nicely in between the main and in between the Marine Medic Army, like we've mentioned before. This will allow him to stop the reinforcements from linking up.
And vessels significantly later than they were in previous games because he did go for that 4th barracks here. So this is buying Hawk enough time to really transition into the Hive game here. He still needs to be a little bit careful here because he doesn't really have any defenses at his third base other than the Mutalisk, right? So if these Marines somehow sneak past his Mutalisk without him seeing, they can just rush right in there and kill all the drones, and that would be devastating for Hawk. So he needs to stay on top of these Mutalisks. This is where the game gets really stressful for the Zurich. You have to be macroing up and doing so much while also tracking where this Marine army is at all times. You can't let it get out of your sight, basically.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to deal with this as Zerg, honestly. But Hawk is doing a great job. There's only like 8 Marines here, yeah. So he can just get on top of this and just kill all of these, especially given the low energy. But reinforcements coming in, I'm still feeling like Hawk is in a totally fine position here.
For sure, and this he manages to, well, he did end up losing quite a few Mutalisks there at the end, but he did manage to trade most of that Marine Ball before the reinforcements could get here. There's still quite a few though, and that's 1-1 Marines against, I think, 0-0 Mutalisks. And yeah, 0-1 Mutalisk, so just +1 attack on the Mutalisk there, and it's kind of scary. Thankfully for Hawk, Gypsy decided not to just charge right into the third base there, because that could have been definitely dangerous. He is going to have enough time to get at least 1 Sunken up here, I think. Where is the rest of Hawk's army? We need some Zerglings or some more Mutalisks to come in and help out. He's got Lurkers on the way, but they're not going to be in time. Sunken does finish. And all of a sudden, this is looking really dicey here. We might see all these drones go down, which would be very, very devastating.
Yeah, I mean, he should clean this up in short order now with these Lurkers, but wow, that really, really nicely microed by Gypsy. Killing all of those Lurkers, that's absolutely devastating. And Hawk wasn't reinforcing them. Oh my god. And he taps out after losing all of those.
Quick GG there after letting the Lurkers go down there without having enough links to defend there. One of the things that would have been really nice, obviously, is to have the Lurkers already set up at the third base. That would have definitely helped. It's harder to split when you're trying to attack into the base, right? But just a little bit late on the Lurkers, I feel like. He needed to either have more Mutalisks to help with that transition or to get the Lurkers slightly faster in a better position.
Yeah, hurts to see. Man, I don't know. Like, I felt like he had Lings, he had Mutas there. If he just reinforced with if he just attacked with the Lings and the Mutas while he was burrowing those Lurkers, they wouldn't have been able to get that angle on the Lurkers. I mean, he would have taken losses for sure, but the Lurkers are really the important part there.
Yeah, their Mutalisks are sort of sacrificial at that point just to save the third base. You already have the Hive on the way, so if you end up losing even all your Mutalisks there and save the third base, that Hive's going to finish up. You're going to have Defilers, and you're still going to have a strong, beginning of your late game there. Without doing that, obviously we saw what happened. He just lost the game. I think what his mutalisks got separated and started attacking a smaller marine force on the south side, a little bit below where the lurkers were. And yeah, obviously you want to keep your whole ball of units together when you're attacking.
While we wait to get into the next game here, I'm actually going to take a short bathroom break. I'm going to be right back.
Okay, I will keep the crowd entertained. We're going to be going into Sylphid here, guys. So hope you're all excited for that. Sylphid, of course, probably the best 3-player map of all time, I think. At least in my personal opinion, it's the one that I enjoy the most. It's super fun, super cool. Yeah. I hope you guys have all enjoyed the show match so far. Even though the series is a little lopsided in terms of results, a couple of the games have been absolutely sick. That game on Ascension was crazy. The Mutalists were getting so much work done there. Hawk almost able to take it back there, that game. And so I hope you guys have enjoyed it, even if the series has been a little lopsided, because there have definitely been good games in there. And if you have been enjoying it, drop us a follow on Twitch. We love the support. We'd love you guys to be tuning into our events. If you have feedback for us or anything like that, you can post it on our Discord server. You can post it in our Team Liquid threads. We always post a Team Liquid thread. Or if you just want to comment and let people know how hype it is that we're running these events in Team Liquid, that'd be great. Any way to garner some attention from the community, we would always appreciate it, guys.
All right, I'm back. Just in time, I see.
That was a fast bathroom break, man.
Okay. So I guess we're still waiting. It looks like having a few issues getting into the game. As usual, I mean, shout out to Blizzard for their wonderful engineering.
What are you drinking tonight, Keen? Are you sipping on for these casts?
I'm just drinking water tonight, dude. I wouldn't dare be casting under the influence. That would just be irresponsible.
Seriously? Just plain old water?
Yeah, just plain old water. What about you?
I have an San Pellegrino Italian sparkling drink.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's fancy. That's
pretty good. Let me see. It's like a blood orange beverage. I actually don't like it that much. So if you want it, you can finish it up.
That doesn't sound that great to me. I feel like I've had like blood orange flavored drinks before, and they're always like underwhelming. Like it sounds good, but then it's probably not sweet enough, right? It's just kind of bitter and like boring.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck blood orange. That's a shitty flavor.
Yeah, not that great. I'll finish it. I'll be a trooper. I pop the cap.
People.
I'll finish it.
I feel like that's one of those things that like people like just because it looks interesting, but it actually just sucks.
I wouldn't say it's not like it's offensive in any ways, right? But it's just kind of boring.
It's terrible. Just it's the worst, dude. There's just no filters here. Okay, say what you think.
No filters, dude. Okay, I'll say what I think. I think it's not the worst. It's just like a little boring.
Well, we have our red Zerg Hawk here on Sylphid. 12 o'clock. No silly blood orange shit. He's just straight up red.
Straight blood color, dude. Unless when the blood is in your veins, it's blue when it's out of oxygen, and it's red when it has oxygen. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow, really? You're really smart.
That was my old elementary school. Well, no, but I did learn this from a doctor scientist that I know.
Oh, wow. Well, he sounds really smart too. So
yeah, he's very smart.
Very reliable information.
Another huge name in the NA scene. I'm sure everyone has heard of Dr. Scientist.
Dr. Scientist, yeah. With doctor spelled with an E, of course.
And spawning in the bottom right as our blue Terran, we have Gypsy.
Oh, man. So, Sylphid.
Do you think we're going to see the Ultralist Rust here on the last map?
I mean, if he was going to go for a third hatch third, this would be the place to do it, because that high ground third, it's super easy to defend. You don't even need lurkers. You can straight up go ultra off of Sunken's. I mean, it's hard for Terran to kind of deny, honestly. All you have to do is make sure you don't get dropped, and you can run away with a pretty sick advantage. And Hawk is starting at the 12 o'clock position, so he does have a pretty sick mining advantage. Actually going, was that Overpool? Or I didn't even...
That's got to be Overpool with how quickly that Overlord has popped, so...
I think it was actually 12 pool. My mistake.
No, I'm pretty sure that was an Overpool.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was just so angry about the blood orange flavor. I can't even focus on the game anymore.
You got to let it go, man. It's not that big of a deal. I'm the one that's drinking it. Remember that,
Well, it just makes me so angry that they market this stuff to unsuspecting consumers.
Yeah, we should write an angry letter for sure to
San Pellegrino. Yeah, they should be ashamed of themselves.
So we did see the Overpool. Do you think that was just to defend against potential ARACs again in the center of the map? Obviously, that is pretty common on this map because it's just so close when you build that racks in the center to get to whatever natural you want to go to. But we're not really seeing, very fast links here by any means.
Yeah, I mean, he is making the full 6 lings here, I think. I will have to see if the third set pops there. Maybe it is just a drone. He will force some SCVs to come to the choke here and defend. But okay, so he is moving out with his lings now. So I don't think he'll be too behind. He will force a command center to be made in the main, and he should get his mutas on time, compared to a regular 2-hatch, 12 hatchery build. So yeah, it's not the worst. I'm not sure he'll be able to do too much damage here, though. Already 3 Marines out. But, I do like this. At least it's something different. At least it's forcing a little bit of a different response from Gypsy here. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish the series went a little different. I kind of wish he threw in some, 2-hatch lurker builds, some, aggressive Ling Rush builds here. Because, like we said, if you just let the Terran execute their game plan and do exactly what they want, and not be worried about any kind of cheese or aggression, it's just really hard to keep an advantage in this matchup.
For sure. Trading 5 lengths here for 2 Marines, not the worst trade, but definitely not the best trade either. Gets in, gets a full scout off, sees the timing on the gas there. Really gets a full scout off, which is kind of nice. The great thing about this overpull and even having the 2 SCVs pulled like that is it can definitely affect Gypsy's timings, where you might not have the exact timings done like this. So like you said, just throwing the Terran off in any kind of possible way can definitely be effective in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looked like Gypsy was going to move out with his Marines there and try to force a little bit of response from Hawk. But wow, okay, so he is committing to the move out now, and Hawk isn't even scouting this. Gypsy seeing that 1 Ling chase the SCV, he knows that Hawk isn't going to see this for quite a while. And okay, thank God, Hawk is actually making lings.
And he's going to catch these Marines on the way back home, too. This could be really scary here, man. These are speed links, so these Marines ain't getting home, I don't think.
Yeah, I think he'll be able to catch these. And killing these Marines can be just absolutely devastating. This could be a game-winning move, as long as he actually does catch them and he doesn't let them get to the base for free.
Okay. Only going to get 2 there, so not going to get all of them. Bunch more Marines pushing out there.
I can't believe he's hiding the lings. I'm not sure this is the right move.
Yeah, I feel like he could have been more aggressive there. That is a lot of lings. He has 4 more back at home, too. If he was to come in with all, 12 or 14 of these lings right now, it could have been enough to end the game. Now with the medics out, obviously this Marine army is a lot stronger. We're going to have to see if we have the 6 Mutalisks forming right away. He's going to go around for a counter here. If he can get right on top of the barracks, once again, that can also be super effective. Running right into the barracks there, we're going to have to see if these are 2 Marines popping. If it is, 2 Marines are going to melt, forcing all the Marines to come home. Getting potentially a couple SCVs, jumping on top of these Marines. But really just buying time with these lings, which is pretty effective all the same. But I feel like there could have been more damage here for sure.
Yeah, I don't know for sure how it would have panned out, but if he collapsed onto the Marine medic group with a group of 6 to 8 lings coming from 2 different sides, I feel like he could have actually killed it, but instead he chose to go into the main, and he is doing damage for sure. He killed that bunker, he killed a few Marines, and he forced SCVs to run away, and now 6 mutas coming in. He could definitely start cleaning up here for sure.
And this is what we mean by affecting the timings of the Terran, right? The turrets aren't even started yet. because he was just thrown off by how all the wings in the early game and by the just the overpull and stuff like that. And now he doesn't have anything on top of these barracks. How is he going to get Marines out of here?
Yeah, I don't think range is even finished yet. So Hawk has a really great window to keep harassing here. This is exactly where he wants to fight too. He has that ridge, and
this is it. That's going to be a straight game. And just the one game, he does something a little bit different. You can see just how effective that is of throwing Terran off their game, able to take a very quick game there, bringing the series up to 5-2. So still definitely a great performance out of Gypsy, but Hawk making things competitive there at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really happy that he was able to at least get a couple points on the board there. I mean, Gypsy played out of his mind, and he showed what a dominating force he is in TVZ. I mean, yeah, really impressive performance by him. I do think that even the games that Hawk lost, there was definitely vulnerabilities, and he kept it competitive the entire time. But yeah, very, very well played. And here we have Gypsy for our winners review. Gypsy, first of all, congratulations. How do you feel after that series?
Yo, what's up? Yeah, I feel pretty good.
That's it, dude? That's all you're going to give us?
Just pretty good after dominating 5-2?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, number one NA question mark. That's about
it. Wow. Okay, well, I mean, you got to give Hawk a little bit of credit here because he was playing the hardest matchup in Brood War.
Not really.
Okay, well,
how are you feeling about your performance overall, though?
Honestly, could have been better, but you know how it is when it comes down to tournament games. It's all about just kind of getting it done, regardless of how you do it. So all in all, yeah. I'm pretty happy.
Did you feel like you were pretty composed the whole series, or did you any nerves or anything like that while you were playing?
No, I was pretty composed. I mean, there's definitely jitters. I think it showed through some of the builds that, I didn't have the best execution every game, but again, I'm sure neither did Hawk, and that's usually that's usually what happens in these types of in tournament play or in show match play, whatever. So that, all things considered, a win's a win. So
yeah. I mean, I definitely thought, like, I was worried in game one, for example, in the mid game, you kind of like threw a pretty significant like Marine medic army into a bunch of lurkers and lost needless army, but you still just came back. Like, your macro was just out of this world. You were like maxed when Hawk was at like 100 supply, and you didn't give him any breathing room despite those early setbacks. So, I mean, I was super happy because I know historically you're still kind of getting used to like competing in BSL, for example, but it looked like you really got your tournament jitters in control this series.
Oh, well, thanks, Keen.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, because I know that the Valkyrie builds that you pulled out a couple times, it's kind of a new style, isn't it? I mean, maybe not completely new, but it's coming back into fashion a little bit off of 1-1-1. And so have you been practicing that for a while, or did you practice that specifically for this series?
I haven't practiced that enough. It's still really hit or miss. I got really lucky on Polaris. I should have instantly lost that game. But yeah, I don't know. It's a strong style for certain, not every map is Shakuras or Polypoid or Eclipse, like these very straightforward maps. And on a map like Polaris or Ascension or even Ringing Bloom, maps that can be really hard to deal with Mutalisks on, even Sylphid, for example. Yeah, Valkyries are really good, especially when you start hitting the extremely top tier of Zerg players that can rip you apart with Mutalisks. And you can't really rely on just Rax builds over and over and over because you will get picked apart. And so, yeah.
It seemed like you had your build really mapped out for this series for sure. It seemed like you knew what maps you wanted to go like 8 racks on, and definitely the Valkyrie build definitely seemed Polaris specific. Did you plan out what you were going to do on each map beforehand, or was this just something as you're going into the game thinking, oh, this will be effective on this map?
Um, it's because it's not a set map order. I feel like it's more as it goes. If you, for example, like game one, if it's something like Eclipse and I wall, then that's going to be the first game that I wall. And if I know it's Eclipse on first map, and then something like, um, what's another map that you can? I don't know. Like, I'm drawing a blank on a map that I can wall on. Like maybe even whatever polypoid bottom right. Then I'm gonna wall twice in that situation, and when you're planning that out, you kind of don't want to do the same build over and over again. So if it's set maps, it's easier to kind of anticipate what you want to play. But when it's loser picks and like the style that we did today, it really is as you go and depends what I've shown him and how I've seen him play. So for example, on Ascension, I was pretty I was pretty sure I wanted to pull out that build. I looked up I saw Light do it literally today. And I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. And I've been practicing mostly Valkyrie build, and I've been also practicing with Cross and Striker all week on stream. So, if Hawk wanted to, he would have had a lot of videos to watch. So, and with that at the back of my mind, I figured that I should pull out something slightly different from what I was showing on stream, just in case. But yeah.
We saw you go 8 racks 2 games. Did you feel like those 8 racks were effective? They got 3 drones both time, I think. Is that enough damage?
No, not what it did on Ascension, he was dead. Like from the opening, absolutely destroyed from the opening.
Yeah, the Wraith got so much damage done too.
Yeah, everything was just in my favor, and I almost threw that game. But because he had some sick Mutalisk harass, but like I knew he must have been all in to afford them Mutalisks at that time and pressure me that hard. But on Ringing Bloom, I just kind of threw it in. The series was pretty much over. It's not like I was trying to sandbag or anything, obviously, but once it's in the bag, you can kind of relax. And Ringing Bloom is kind of an annoying map, and I didn't really feel like playing it too much, so I threw that in. And I think it's not very good on that map. It's good if you scout first, but definitely when you scout last like that and you go, I mean, I think it got enough damage, but my follow-up execution was pretty bad. So yeah.
Yeah, we saw Hawk with some crazy Mutalisk harass there. On that, like you were saying, on that Ascension game, you lost your first vessel. Were you sweating at all when he kept picking them off? It seemed like you kind of skimped on the turrets in your main base, especially. I think you only had one when he first came in with the Mutalisk.
Yeah, it was a disaster game, man. I mean, my SimCity was all over the place. I mean, I don't know if it's about skimping turrets more so than my layout was so bad that I had a hard time like playing the game out. I skipped scans forever because I was worried that a scan in my main would screw up the pathing even more. So yeah, obviously I was definitely sweating, especially losing my vessels like a noob so many times. But at the same time, like I knew how far ahead I was from the beginning, like supremely far ahead. So I was hoping that I could weather the storm, but you never know in those situations. You just keep playing.
One thing I wanted to ask is, so until the final game of the series, Hawk basically just did 12 hatch every game into 2 hatch meta. How comfortable did that make you playing out the series, knowing that you didn't really you got amazing scouting pretty much every game, and he knew exactly what he was doing? How did you feel knowing that he was just playing the same style every game?
Well, I don't know. I think it's fine. I think it was unfortunate on Sylphid because I had the proper response to everything that he was doing, but sometimes the games go like that. So even when he opened pool first, especially if you go pool into hatch, I think in general that's like a pretty terrible build, to be honest, because you're not actually putting, when you put down the hatchery and you don't save up larva to instantly make a bunch of lings and have speed or something with it, you're not actually putting on that much pressure. You're just forcing the Terran to pull 2 SCVs or 3, put down his command center in main. But all in all, Terran comes out ahead anyway, especially from an 11 rack. So 12 hatch is fine. But the reality is, like, off that 12 hatch, he could have definitely like, I was surprised that he didn't play any lurker builds or anything like that. I was surprised that he wanted to play very standard games with me. But yeah, I mean, I felt comfortable, I guess. I don't know.
I want to talk about the Polaris game a little bit. First of all, I want to compliment you on your Marine control that game, because you just had your Marines coming in from every which angle. When you took that third base and you had them running down from, every possible way that you can get into that base, it was so effective. Obviously, it completely won you the game when you shut down that third base. But there was definitely that moment when the Mutalisk showed up and you didn't have Stim yet, and you didn't have your 2 extra racks up yet, and your Valkyrie wasn't done. Was that just inexperience with the build? Were your timings off? What happened there?
Yeah, it was definitely an experience with the build. I think I was mostly practicing versus Striker on that map, and he tends to not ramp up his Mutalisk count. I don't know what it was, but Hawk showed up with a bunch of Mutalisks that I wasn't expecting, and he came from an angle that I hadn't seen in my practice games, and yeah, that's it. It's just an experience for sure.
Even so, I mean, that was a really, really tough situation. So it's pretty crazy that you were able to keep in the game and still just like you took the perfect pathways, honestly, to, throw Hawk off. He had to rearrange his lurkers to defend his third, and then you pressured his natural, and just kind of yo-yoing back and forth is really hard to deal with. So that was really, really well played. And then just sandwiching the third, really, really nice play. So I guess you did mention you played a lot with Striker and Crossy. Did you mostly just do that on stream, or were there any other practice partners that you had to prepare for this series?
No, I played all of them on stream. I played with a couple warm-up games with Cross to prepare that 8 racks build on Ascension, and that's about it. So obviously, huge thanks to Striker and Cross. They're always always willing to help me. And even Cross, for example, practiced with me for Ascension, even though we're in the same tournament. So much love to both of them.
Okay, man. So what's next for Gypsy after this? Do you want to keep playing in tournaments? Do you want to take over BSL? You are looking absolutely sick lately. Your form is on point. What's next for you, man?
Well, thanks, Just. I don't know, dude. I'm just gonna keep playing. Of course, BSL would be nice, but at the same time, to be honest, I don't really care about that tournament.
Other than casting it, right?
Yeah, well, I do enjoy casting it with Naokin, but
you're like 2,300 on the ladder. You're like top 10 right now. So
yeah, we'll see if it's enough, though. I think I can. If I get lucky, I think I can get. Well, if I get lucky, I actually think if I play a lot of games on an account, I can get 2,400, even in hitting Koreans. But see, that's the thing. Like, the reality is you can actually just keep remaking accounts until you do that. Now, do I have the motivation to do something like that? No, I don't really care. So, and I think it would be lame. And the sad truth is that there's a lot of players in the ladder qualifiers that either have multiple accounts or continuously remake the accounts until they can get a good MMR, which is kind of pathetic. And also, not to mention the inflation that European and South American players get makes it extremely unfair. But 2,300, 2327 is pretty high MMR. I can maybe push that a bit higher. I could get into the tournament, but it's not really my focus. As you guys said, I do cast it. My focus is just to, it's hard for me to motivate myself to play every single day to really push my level up, but I would like to do that, and my motivation really is to just get high rating and hit high rated Koreans and try and get better. That's really, and play in the NA events for sure. If there's ever an NA event, if there's ever show matches, I will 100% play in all of them.
That's good to hear, man. I mean, I regardless, I hope you do make BSL Pro League because it would be absolutely sick to see more top American or North American talent in the BSL Pro League. And I definitely think you can make it far. We did announce tonight that we are going to be doing a Turf Wars 2 starting in May. So
Yeah.
I hope you participate.
That's sick, and I hope that you guys pick a different captain than Raz.
Well, we're still working out the yeah, I will have to see.
Just so you know, Gypsy, that tournament is the captains are going to pick players. Maybe not everyone will be picked. Are you worried at all that you might potentially not make that list, man?
Yeah, I am worried, actually.
Yeah, you should be, man. Just so you know.
Also,
well,
I just want to throw out.
Yeah.
If you happen to be a captain Gypsy and you don't pick me, I'm going to never forget that.
I was gonna say, like, I hope I'm not captain because if I'm not first pick, I'll be very mad. No, I'm just kidding. It's last event was absolutely sick, and it was a fun time. So I hope the second one is going to be cool. And obviously, I mean, I actually like Raz. He's a nice guy. And in general, it was fun. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's for sure.
Hell yeah, man. Let's run it back. I guess that's pretty much all the questions we have for you, unless, Keen, you have anything else. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give out, Gypsy? Shout out your own stream, stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure everyone that's watching already watches my stream, so forehead.
We'll be sure to link it in the chat, dude.
Yeah, well, one is big shout out again to Cross and Striker. I love you guys. Thanks so much for helping me. And then the other is a shout out to Hawk. I actually like the guy quite a lot, and I have a lot of respect for him. And I didn't feel confident in winning this because I knew I was against a strong opponent. So today, the results went in my favor, but tomorrow could always be different. So, and really the competition only is meaningful if your opponents are, a challenge. So shout out to Hawk too. And yeah, that's about it. I don't know. Shout out to you guys and the Rogues Gallery for putting this on. And whoever donate, I don't know if there's people that donated or whatever, but yeah, thanks to.
Yeah, once again, we are doing a donation drive for Turf Wars 2 starting today, but we also were sponsored by Esports Fund, so big shout out to them. It's super awesome what they do for the Brood War community.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Gypsy, man. Great performance once again. We'll see you next time, dude.
Yeah, see you.
Thank you again.
And I believe that is going to be it for us here at Rogues Gallery tonight. Once again, if you guys enjoy the content, please drop us a follow. Please join our Discord server. Leave us comments on Team Liquid or the Discord server for feedback, stuff like that. Please consider donating to that Turf Wars 2 that we are going to be putting on. And yeah, it's been so much fun. You guys have a great rest of your night.